Well, it's that time again. Bungie has shot themselves in the foot, so to say, with the latest dev insight that we got 2 weeks before Final Shape comes out. 2 weeks. It's full of nerfs, mainly nerfs. There are a few buffs, but there are a lot of nerfs. One thing I will say this is Warlocks, you won't have to run well that much anymore. We won't have to run multiple wells because that's the main nerf that we see here in this. There's a lot of stuff for stasis. There's nerfs for every subclass, but the light subclass would be the dark. There's everything here. There are some buffs for things, but they're trying to better balance the game for when Prismatic comes out. That we expect this to happen. We expected it to happen. We even expected, the nerf to the wells because we were like gods in the wells. Pop a well, boom, you're golden, doing damage, increased damage, taking less damage, recovering health. We were gods. So we knew this was coming. We knew this was coming for different reasons. So I'm not gonna spend too much time. I'm just gonna go ahead and go through this quickly. I'm gonna go through I'm not gonna go through each individual paragraph and go through what we got here with the little blurb with the bullet points. So for stasis, we have the new frost armor keyword, fortified by layers of durable stasis matter, reducing incoming damage. Grows stronger as you gain additional stacks, so it's stacked, which is good. Reduces damage from PvE combatants by 4.5 per stack, and from enemy players by 2, so it's good for PvE and PvP. Whisper Rhyming Work no longer grants stasis shard over shield. It now increases the maximum duration and increases your stack count for the frost armor. So it could be good, it could be good, it could be bad. We won't know until it truly comes out and when Final Shape comes out. There are a few things that, it could be beneficial. I don't know. I never really dealt with stasis that much. I wasn't a fan of it. But, it could be good. Let's see. Also, we got all harvest aspects. Added new behavior. While Grim, Tectonic, or Glacial Harvest is equipped, stasis shards grant a small amount of health and stack of frost armor. Large stasis shards from Grim Harvest grant more health and frost armor stacks. All harvest aspects now have standardized cooldowns, and a large number of shards are created very quickly. And Tectonic Harvest now creates a stasis shard when shattering a frozen target in addition to shattering stasis crystal. So instead of what was it? In the stasis shard overshield, everything's just changing to the frost shield, frost armor. My bad, frost armor. So they're just changing things from one to the other. It's all it is. For Renewal Grasp, replace generic damage resistance with frost armor. On entering your dusk field grenade volume, you or your allies gain a stack of frost armor. About every 0.9 seconds, so basically every second while on the volume, an additional frost stack is granted resetting your timer. The Bellador's Wraith Reavers, let's see, replace Stasis Shard Overshield with Frost Armor. Yeah, so just instead of Overshield, things are just changing the Frost Armor. The Whisper Chill, Stasis Whip, Final Blows have a chance to create a Stasis Shard. Okay, that's good now. That's a good for that aspect. The aspect Whisper of Chains no longer grants passive damage resistance when near Stasis Crystal. Frozen target now grants a chance to create a Stasis Shard when you have one or more stacks of Frost Armor. Whisper Fracture no longer increases melee energy regeneration while surrounded by enemies. Now creates a stack of Frost Armor when you shatter any frozen target with a melee attack. And the final fragment is the Whisper of Torment. Grenade energy gains are no longer dependent on your current health value. Base grenade energy regeneration amount per incoming damage. Event increase from 5 to 7. And while you have Frost Armor, energy per damage event increased to 7 to 12. So like I said, there are some slight buffs, some slight nerfs for certain things. They've also added a new fragment called the Whisper of Reversal. While you have Frost Armor, dealing or receiving physical melee damage slows your victim or attacker. Okay, that could be good, that could be bad, it could be really, really good for slowing them, at least slowing them down. Stasis Shatter, increased base PvE shatter damage to 200 to 400. Fix an issue where bosses auto-shattering or being hit by 2 instances of shatter damage. Darn. Fix an issue where player And an active super would show immune damage flyouts when automatically breaking out of stasis freeze. Okay. Okay, so they're like I said, I don't know too much about the stasis. I don't know too much about the number damage calculations or anything like that. But we won't truly know everything until it comes out. For the Warlock, Ice Flare Bolt increased the maximum number of Seekers created before going cooldown from 5 to 7. For the Hunters, Winter Shroud, add a new behavior slowing targets, briefly increases your class ability regen rate. Bonus reduced in PvP game modes, now grants PvE damage reduction when activated. Alright, for the Touch of Winter, it affects the Glacier Grenade and the Cold Snap Grenade. Add additional stasis to the ring formation, increasing count from 6 to 7. Now it forms over 0.27 seconds rather than instantly. Cold Snap no longer change to additional time while Touch of Winter is equipped. Instead, Seekers now duplicate when they freeze a target. Second and third Seeker chains now create a medium and large stasis crystal respectively. Okay, and then the Hunter Super, Silence and Squall. Increase Squall maximum travel by 10%. Storm now slows down when any target's within its area of effect. And then in slow tick rate, PvE combat's about 40. Bringing its freeze from approximately 0.8 to about 0.5. Okay. And then for the Titan, I'm a Titan main. I'm a Crayon Eater, you know, it so happens. For the Shiver Strike, increased damage on PvE by 10. Increased size made target search area cone by 50%. Increased maximum lunge tracking angular speed from 7 degrees to about 21. So that's a good buff, honestly. So that's a good buff. And then Glacial Quake now automatically begins sprinting when the player throttles forward. Cryoclasm removed sprint time requirement. It goes on cooldown for 4 seconds after one extended slide. And then for the Diamond Lance, increased thrown Diamond Lance detonation from 3.5 to 5 meters. Slam detonation from 6.75 meters to 8 meters versus PvE. Now shatter stasis crystals. Pickup interaction from 0.2 to 0.1. And pickup interaction rate is from 0.7 to 3 meters. Okay. And here we go. The meat and the potatoes, per se, of this that everybody is truly talking about. The nerfs, the Well of Radiance, and Ward of Dawn. Well, Ward of Dawn, I think we'll get there, but we're gonna go with the Well of Radiance. These are the big two talking points that people are talking about, and I really think we should really give some look into these. So for the Well of Radiance, we've got a nerf to these. You're not gonna be able to withstanding as much damage. You're not healing. That's basically what's happening. So Radiance now grants Radiant for 8 seconds when players exit the well. Reduced the survivability while standing in the well aura. Reduced the healing from 100 to 50. Matching restoration times 2. Increased heal and cast from 40 to 300 points. So that's one little buff to the well. That's it. Besides the maximum orbs. But you know, from 4 to 5, 1 extra orb. Ooh, okay, cool. Reduced damage resistance from non-boss from 40 to 20. And boss damage 40 to 10%. Those are significant changes. Now, we're not going to feel as much of a god. We're not going to be able to withstand as much. And it's kind of them shooting themselves in the foot. But things could change. We don't know truly, like I said before, and I will continue to say it throughout this video. We don't know truly what's going to happen until the final shape comes out. And there's more testing done. People can't test this yet. We don't know because this isn't out. This is what's happening. We knew it was going to happen, but we didn't know what. So, we talked about the well. Let's go to Ward of Dawn. Your Bubble Titans. We know the Bubble Titans. We know them. So, let's see what we got. The removed Armor of Light Overshield. It immediately applies a full Void Overshield into caster and allies that enter its dome. Armor of Light now instead grants additional damage resistant to players inside the ward. 30% versus enemy players and 60% versus enemy combatants. Effective health of players inside the Ward of Dawn remains roughly the same as it was before PvE combatants. Effective health players inside the Ward of Dawn is significantly lower than it was before in PvP. It cannot be further increased by stacking Bastion Barricades inside the Ward to gain additional Overshield players. And then we got allies near the Ward of Dawn now have Void Overshield trickled on over time, some of the volume behind a Bastion. It no longer provides weapons of light by default. This behavior has been removed to the benefits of Helm of Saint 14. And the Ward on caster can now generate additional orbs of power, defeating enemies with melee attacks in or near their Ward of Dawn. It's a lot to take in. I don't know. It's gonna be an interesting time in Destiny when the final shape comes out. I know we're all excited for it, but there's things that they're doing, and like I said, it could be shooting themselves in the foot. Let's go look at the rest of the subclasses before we talk a little more. So for the arc subclasses, for the Hunter, Arc Staff, Home Strike attacks and heavy air slam blind enemies. Disorienting Blow, decreased base cooldown time from 100 to 90. Additional damage resistance versus PvE for Tempest Strike. The Warlock, Lightning Surge, additional damage resistance versus PvE. Ball Lightning, increased the final arming shape size by 30. Fixed an issue where the arming shape was offset upward. And then Chain Lightning, increased secondary chain projectiles base damage from 27 to 54. So, like I said, there are buffs. They're not everything is a nerf, but there are some buffs. For the Titan, Thunderclap, added additional damage resistance versus PvE. Increased minimum damage versus PvE by 20%. Maximum damage by 33%. Increased maximum damage versus enemy players by 14. So, Arc Titan's making a comeback. That's not Thunder Crash. I guess we'll see. Increased damage bonus granted to powered melee attacks versus PvE comp at 25 to 50. Reworked healing behavior. No longer unstuns health regen on melee defaults. Grants a chunk of healing at scale with the type of target defeated. Player 30, minor combatant 50. Major combatant 75, champion plus combatant 100 health. Touch of Thunder, Storm Grenade, increased tracking travel speed with targeting PvE by 0.5 and 1 meters per second, increasing the storm's lifetime. Touch of Thunder, Lightning Grenade, now applies Jolt after the first damage event rather than prior. Okay, and then for the grenades, increased damage versus PvE combatants by 20. Touch of Thunder range damage is unchanged. And then Skip Grenade, increased damage by PvE by 15, and Arc Bolt damage increased by 15% as well. Okay, so like I said, the grenades get a little more damage. In PvE, anyway. In PvE, so they could be good. The Arc Fragments. Spark of Recharge. Bonus now persists until a player returns to full shield rather than deactivating as soon as shields begin to recharge. Spark of Beacon. Triggers undefeating end targets with Arc Power, ammo weapons, while amplified, and the Free Spark of Frequency. Now also grants 15 weapon stability on powered melee hit, in addition to its reload benefit. Okay. Back just a hint of the old Frontal Assault Striker talent. Okay. Buffs and nerfs. We'll see. Alright, for the Hunter, for the Solar. Lightweight has 2 melee charge by default. Throw animation speed of 33%. Reduce suppression time between throws. Waves can be thrown very quickly back to back. It does not stack with Ophidia Cephate. Okay. For knock him down, reduce internal cooldown on throwing not refund from 1 second to 0.2. Dang. Golden Gun, Marksman. Reduce strength of orbs power created on precision hit as follows. When hitting non-boss enemies, reduce strength from 0.75 to 0.5. Boss enemies, 0.75 to 0.4. When hitting boss enemies, will Star Eater scales is equipped. Reduce strength from 0.75 to 0.35 of normal super overpower. Okay. I don't know much about the Hunter. I've never really played with Hunter, so I guess played as a Hunter, I should say. So I guess it kind of sucks, honestly, because Golden Guns normally would stack people during bosses. For the Titan Consecration, slam attacks can now shatter stasis crystals. Thank God. Ignition generated by Consecration now deal 20% additional damage. Fixing your Consecration slam attack was sometimes unable to damage floating combatants while they were grounded, and fixed an issue where Consecration intended PvE damage resistance was not being applied. Hammer of Soul. Increased projectile submutation count with Salt Invictus is not equipped as follows. It doesn't. The first 0.2 sanitize for shrapnel up from 3 points. After the first 0.7, it creates 6 instead of 5. Shrapnel now deal additional damage when Soul Invictus is not equipped, the damage increasing after the first 0.7 seconds of the projectile's last lifetime. Okay, and then finally for the Swarm Grenade, increase tracking shape size from 4 to 6 meters, from link duration from 7 to 8 seconds to 10 to 11, and increase damage by 20%. So it seems like grenades are getting a buff for maybe a good reason. Who knows? Who knows? You know, spam those grenades. Hunter for the Void. Snare Bomb. Increased linger duration of smoke from 3 to 5. Small damage over time and enemies in the smoke. Okay. Trapper's Ambush. Increased linger duration of smoke from 4.5 to 6 seconds. Snare's Bomb damage over time. Okay. And smoke effects could be struck by ground geometry. And then Stylish Executioner. Weaken effect can now be applied by glaive melee. Okay. Titan, they switched it here. They moved Warlocks to last, and I don't know why they did that. Shield Throw, increased bounce cost from count 4 to 5. Lifetime from 3 to 4 seconds. It's tracking shape size after the bounce, increasing constantly finding your target. Increased gravity and decreased thrust speed with each bounce, and increased damage by 20%. Offensive Bulwark can now only extend Void Overshield's timer to its normal maximum duration. Generates a small portion of your active Void Overshield. Okay, and for the Warlocks, Chaos Accelerant. Charge Magnetic Grenade, increased max intensity of physics knockback and pulse by 10. Increased damage by PvE by 20. Decreases your magnetic grenade's cooldown by 10 when the Chaos Accelerant is equipped. Pocket Singularity, increased detonation damage versus PvE about 50%. Okay. Nova Bomb, Cataclysm variant, increased Seeker count from 4 to 6. Fix an issue where Seekers could impact the environment on creation. The Vortex variant, linger from 7 to 10 seconds. And linger bigs we're shutting off early. Okay. Strand. I'm kind of a little saddened about this. I came back to playing Destiny during the final shape. Just like a lot of people came back to playing Destiny. I wasn't a fan of Strand when I first played. I've grown to very much enjoy it. I like being a Titan that just punches and takes care of business. I'm a little upset with how things are happening, but like I said, it's only minor for, you know, a Spanner Titans. So I'm gonna work on my build, and maybe we can find something a little bit better, but we'll see. So for the Thread of Warding, reduce Woven Mail duration on orb from 10 to 5 seconds. Good little nerf. For the Hunter's Ensnaring Slam, detonation volume versus enemy players now a cylinder rather than a sphere of 8 meters. Threaded Spike, reduced damage versus enemy players from 79 to 70. Catching your threaded spike no longer breaks invisibility. I'm not too worried about that. For the Warlock, Weaver's Call, add a new behavior. Defeating a target with Strand now has a chance to generate a perched threadling with higher chance of generation from defeating more powerful targets. Damage can be from any source, including other threadlings. It's kind of interesting. So we're gonna have a lot. There's a chance we could see a lot more threadlings in and around on the ground. Grapple Tangles. No longer fully refresh their duration when grappled to. So if you see a tangle on the ground and you grapple to it, it won't refresh your grapple completely. It increases the duration by a maximum of 5 seconds per grapple, reaching a max of 1 second added after 5 consecutive grapples to the same grapple tangle. No more instantaneous grapple when you grapple a thread, a tangle. Kinda sucks. Grapple melee would no longer be used to fire after firing a weapon. Oh, come on. Alright, for the Titan. Alright, into the fray. Reduce melee energy regeneration from 4 times to 3 times. Unchanged in PvP. Banner of War. Reduced maximum timer from 30 seconds to 24 seconds. Melee, glaive, and super damage bonus now have diminishing returns with Synthoceps. With melee, 1.4 to 1.15. Glaive decreased from 1.25 to 1.125. and Super 1.4 to 1.2. And Melee and Glaive now have diminishing returns with Worm God Karis as well. For Melee, it's 1.4 to 1.1, and for Glaive, it's 1.4 to 1.05 based on stat count. And then finally for the Titan, Frenzy Blade, reduce the forward offset for melee lens target point from 0.4 to 0.18. In a nutshell, this was basically a big nerf to Wells, and a little bit of a nerf slash kind of buff to Bubble Titans. I mean, Bubble Titans are going to be a lot more prevalent, I feel like, now, with Wells getting this big nerf that they are getting. Only time will tell what could truly happen with this. We won't know until it comes out in 2 weeks. So keep your ears to the ground. We'll cover more as more is put out. But until then, this is a Frugan, and see you out there. Appreciate y'all.